Hello, for iGen, I'm Luke Kamali, and here today we are going to be talking about Driveclub. And so joining me is the man himself, game director, Paul Rustchynsky. Hello, Paul.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Really well, thanks.
So let's start off. The big news, obviously, last week before, you announced the new release date.
Yep, October 10th in the UK, 8th across Europe, and the 7th in the US.
And so that's got to be a huge relief, right? The game is, it's pinned down finally about when it's coming out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It allows everyone to kind of prepare themselves now for the greatness that's coming.
Yeah, so before we get into all the questions, because we asked you guys some questions, you responded in your thousands, which was great. So just tell us, because the dynamic menu is something that's been talked about a lot. So what exactly is the dynamic menu? Because that's what you said you'd honed, and the reason for the delay partly.
Yeah, I mean, dynamic menu doesn't mean a lot to most people, but it means a lot to us because it connects on kind of so many different levels. The first thing about dynamic menu I want to kind of detail is the way it tries to pull people together. You know, every menu that you look through inside the game, there's a list of activities, but it's not just a random list of activities. It's activities that's related to the area of the menus that you're in. So if you're on the main menu, it will be everything. If you're in the challenges area, it'll be challenges that's specific to you and your club. And they're always present on the screen and they're always being updated live. So it's kind of this window into what's going on inside Driveclub, and that's present all the time. And this also translates directly over to the Driveclub app as well. So it wasn't just us developing this for PlayStation 4. We had to develop it for the companion app as well. So we had to make those two talk together. And also part of it is the immediacy, the slickness. Because one of the things that we had originally, it was a bit slow, a bit cumbersome. And we wanted to make sure that it never interrupted your experience. So now within a couple of seconds, you can be through all the menus, into a race, super quick loading times, back to the front end, seeing a refresh exactly what's happened, and we're trying to make sure you can get into a race, see what's going on in a super quick time frame, because nobody wants this kind of wait for a minute loading time, get into a race, wait for the server to update, and it just has to be seamless. It has to be slick, and that's what we needed to do. It's the idea that Sony, we won't compromise on quality, so when it comes out in October, it will be exactly as we envisioned it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. That's fantastic. Cool. Okay, so let's jump on into the questions then. So quite a few people asked this one, but the one we picked was Marcello Vituli. So he wanted to know, have you guys experimented with Project Morpheus? And was the opportunity, because the phrase was, going back to the drawing board at one stage, that was mentioned, did that give you a great opportunity to, really explore the possibilities of Morpheus?
Well, first of all, Morpheus is just a hugely exciting piece of technology. Virtual reality is something that we've all, I think, dreamed of a little bit of getting involved with. And obviously, people can imagine just, what would happen in the driving game. Sat inside the cockpit, looking around the detail of the car. It's hugely exciting. Obviously, for Driveclub right now, it's not something that we're actively working on. Okay. We do, at Evolution Studios, have a dedicated team who look at 3D, who look at VR, who are working on technologies similar to this. So we are keeping an eye on it, but it won't be there for launch, that's for sure.
Okay, cool. But possibly down the line?
Possibly. I mean, it's something that we're definitely investigating, but right now that's not our focus.
Okay, cool. So then Luke Walters wanted to know, how many tracks and cars should we expect to see in the game at launch? And then how many of those should PS Plus, the winner of the PS Plus version, expect to get access to?
Well, there's plenty. We haven't actually told this yet. This is exclusive to you.
Oh, very exciting. Yeah. We'll take that.
There are 5 different locations across the world. Chile, Norway, India, UK, and Canada. Oh. I almost forgot then. And in each of those locations, there are 11 tracks in total, which are a combination of point-to-point tracks, road circuits, race tracks, so a huge amount of variety, and cars. There are 50 cars inside the game. These stretch from hot hatch cars, so Volkswagen, Golf, GTI, for example, all the way through to your hypercars, so your Hennessy Venom GT, Pagani, Huayra. You've got everything inside there. And what we tried to do with the cars, those 50 that we kind of hand-picked, is really kind of go to town with the detail of the cars. We wanted to make sure that they looked inch perfect. So I think, as we kind of said before, it's about making sure every little detail, every little screw, every fibre on the weave is an exact replica of what the real world car is. Doing the same with the audio, making sure that every car is recorded, on the track, on the dyno, 17 mics inside and out the car, and capturing every little detail. So when you're racing one of these cars, you actually feel the essence and the character as well of the handling. Because we've been very fortunate with these cars as well. We've been actually got quite a few close relationships with the manufacturers, and we've been able to go out, drive the cars, get a feel for what they're like, and we've tried to make sure that every single one kind of replicates that inside the game. So of those 50, PlayStation Plus users get to drive 10 of them.
Cool.
And of the 55 tracks from the core game, PlayStation Plus users get 11.
Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. Okay, so then PS4, Matt has asked, kind of leading on from that, will there be a discounted price to upgrade to the full version for PS Plus members?
Most definitely. And the PlayStation Plus edition, I've run through all the worldwide prices as well. In the UK, it's going to be $42.99.
Cool.
In Europe, it's €49.99 euros, and in the US, $49.99.
Fantastic.
Obviously, retailer prices will vary, so I can't say what everyone's going to retail for, but it's a great opportunity for PlayStation Plus users to upgrade to the full game. Yeah. And one of the cool things about the PlayStation Plus edition is that you do get all the features. So you've got online multiplayer, so you can race against competitors, you can race as part of a club against other clubs, you can receive challenges, you can obviously create and form clubs, you can interact with the app. Everything's there. The only thing you don't get is all the cars and all the tracks. Yeah. Otherwise, it's feature complete pretty much. And when you upgrade from the PlayStation Plus edition to the full game, all your progress transfers over. So any fame you've earned, any cars you've unlocked, or any cars you potentially would have unlocked will instantly unlock the moment you upgrade to the full game.
Oh, cool. Fantastic. So Karen Francis then says, I think it's fair to say, the delay has actually probably caused expectations to rise, You've had more time, people are expecting, more for their buck, right?
Yeah.
So what sets Driveclub apart from other races and makes the delay worth it? Why should they still be, as excited, not more so?
Yeah, well, the delay has meant many things to us. I mean, some areas, of course, we've talked about the dynamic menu and how we needed to make that, the perfect sort of, social hub effectively for the game. But the delay has also meant that we can actually spend more time. We've added more tracks, we've added more cars than originally was meant to be on the disc, and we've been able to polish some areas as well. So the cars, for example, we've been able to add a few more extra details on there. Visuals, rendering techniques, we've been able to improve a few things. So visually, it's going to move another step on. We've been able to add more objects, more density to each of the tracks as well. So each of them feel more alive than they previously would have done. So it's just allowed kind of all the rest of the team who weren't focusing on this dynamic menu to really just kind of polish up the other areas. I mean, it was very good before, but I think what we've been able to do is just exceed our expectations now with this delay.
Cool. So a guy called Cass Miller has asked, one of the big things that kind of when you first came out talking about the game is, it's 30 frames per second. Now, some of your next-generation rivals kind of pride themselves on being 1080p, 60 frames per second as, true next-generation experiences. What does Driveclub offer that those games don't, that means, the 30 frames per second is ideal for Driveclub and why you've opted not to or you can't hit 60?
Yeah. Well, we made a conscious choice to hit for 30 because one of the goals of Driveclub has always been to make the single most beautiful driving game ever. And we truly believe that's the case. We believe our cars are more detailed, have better shadowing, better lighting, and all these other little things which just take them to the next level, which I don't think we've seen in any other racing game. Same with the tracks. We tried to make tracks which kind of stretch, 20 kilometres into the distance in terms of, what you can see, some beautiful vistas, and also in terms of variety and scope of these locations as well. I don't think any of our driving game has tried stages like this on the next generation platforms just yet. And I don't think there's any disadvantages to 30 as well because we've taken a lot of time with the handling to make sure that it's ultra responsive, because you can get games where it can feel a little bit sluggish, but we spent a lot of time really honing the pad and making sure that every input you make, you feel on the screen immediately.
Okay, cool. So something tied into that, will there be a cockpit cam? Can you view from behind the car and also inside?
Yeah, we've got a full range of camera views.
Cool.
We've got the cockpit cam, of course, which is great to showcase the interiors of the cars. We've also got a dashboard cam. Now, a lot of users actually like to play this with a pad, but it's actually been designed around the wheel. Okay. So if you want to put your wheel in front of the TV and imagine your wheel is the one inside the car, that fits perfectly. And then we've got bumper, bonnet, and we've got 2 chase cams now because off the back of E3, a lot of users online and Twitter were asking, can we have a chase cam further out? So we've added another one. So now we've got near chase and far chase cameras.
Great. So someone called Jorge Cruz has asked, can you play alone or offline? Obviously it's a social game, right? That's the whole point of it. But if you opt to play alone, can you still get something out of it?
Well, obviously, the best way to play Driveclub is connected. Being part of a club, because you can share in your rewards with your club mates. But if you haven't got an online connection or you simply just don't want to interact with other people, that's absolutely fine. We cater for those users. We have a full single-player campaign called Driveclub Tour, and I believe that's got 50 different events inside there, each of which have a series of objectives. So you can play that completely offline, and if you want to connect at a later date, any progress or anything that you did whenever you connect to a club will all be contributed, and you can send challenges off the back of that. So if you want to play offline, that's absolutely fine.
Cool. Someone called Tom has said, and I'm aware this is probably going to be a lengthy answer, what kind of car customization options are available?
Well, obviously, it's important in Driveclub that you can customise your car to stand out.
Yeah.
This is both for yourself and for your club, because it's important that as a club you've got a kind of an identity that stands out. So you can have the club leader, you can create a livery, and the second you connect to your club, livery will transfer into any of the cars that you want to play with, kind of a generic livery hosting. But what you can do is you can change, obviously, paint colours, paint types, livery patterns, shapes, and all these different things to make it look unique. So if you want that pink Ferrari with yellow stripes, be my guest. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So will there be, because obviously, as you say, the cars are going to be, immaculate recreations, very, very close, very, very detailed. So Americo Alvarenga wants to know, will there be somewhere like, a hub world or a garage where you can just take the time to hang out with your cars and really explore, in the insides, interiors, exteriors, and all of that?
There isn't really a hangout per se. We've got like a vehicle select, which is your garage. And in your garage, you can flick through all your cars, rotate the camera around. But one of the key things we wanted to do with the vehicle select was all based upon, I think I touched on before, immediacy.
Yeah.
And the idea of just being able to quickly get into the game. So we don't let people linger on that. We want to get people into the race. And you can see the detail as you're racing around. Not really not a hub area or a garage per se, but you can, of course, take your time and look at the vehicles in detail if you want.
Cool, fantastic. So someone called Jason has said, will there be ranking systems among clans and players? And how about tournaments offering in-game rewards?
There is, of course, rankings. I mean, it's important to know where you stand amongst your friends, where you stand amongst the world, and it's the same for clubs. You want to see how you stack up against your friends' clubs and how you stack up against all the clubs around the world. It's just really important to know how you stand. And post-release, we are going to be looking at things such as tournaments and leagues, etc. But there's nothing set in stone yet for that. Okay,
cool. So someone called George Kunafis, because when Driveclub was first delayed, Shuhei Yoshida said that when it eventually did come out, it would still be part of the the Instant Game Collection. So is that still the plan? Will it be part of the October Instant Game Collection for PS Plus subscribers?
Yep, day and date. So on October 10th in the UK, you'll be able to go to the PlayStation Store, pick up Driveclub as a PlayStation Plus user for free, and if, as mentioned to before, you can upgrade at a discounted price.
Cool. And do you know how many gigabytes that'll be yet, or is that still a bit too early?
Approximately 20 gig, let's say.
Okay.
I don't want to confirm that.
Yeah.
But I suspect somewhere in the ballpark.
That's how we're looking. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Nathan says, will there be microtransactions? And if so, how will they operate and what will they offer?
Well, it's been a hot topic of late inside gaming. And we've been very keen to kind of take on board the feedback from gamers and make sure we don't upset anyone. So in Driveclub, what we've tried to do is make sure that the progression system is really straightforward, really simple, and gives you access to a lot of content very quickly. So in Driveclub, you earn fame, and fame levels you up. Okay. And every time you level up, we give you another car. There's no kind of double gating or anything along those lines. You're given the car straight away. You don't have to do anything else. The only thing we do have a couple of shortcuts. If you want to unlock a car immediately, you can pay to unlock that car straight away, but it's not a consumable microtransaction. We don't let people buy fame, for example, and spend lots and lots of money. The idea is that you can, if you want to shortcut things, you can do. It's an identical thing that we did in the MotorStorm RC. So if you play the MotorStorm RC, you know exactly what we're doing here. Yeah.
Cool. So Jordis Gomez has said, is this a sim racer, an arcade racer, or something in between? So on a scale of, let's say, Gran Turismo being, your sim racer, and then Need for Speed being your arcade, where would you place it on that graph?
Well, I don't want to directly compare us to anyone else.
Yeah.
Because I think we kind of sit in quite a unique space right now.
Cool.
But we're definitely somewhere in between. We are. We've kind of taken... initially, it's kind of a simulation base that we build from. So we kind of replicate the cars in absolute detail. We get all the specs from the manufacturer, we plug them into our system, and we tune them so that they're actual, really accurate representations. But the important thing for Driveclub, being a social racer, it has to be super accessible.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time with each car, making sure that every car can just be, pick up and play. Anyone can have fun. But the important thing is the depth is still there, sat behind the kind of layer of accessibility. So if you want to shave your milliseconds off your lap time and be the fastest player in the world, you can absolutely do that. And of course, if you want to kind of get more advanced and get more into the detail underneath, you can also play with a wheel as well.
Okay, cool. So what are we looking at in terms of DLC? Like, new tracks, new cars, what have you got planned, kind of thing?
We're definitely looking at releasing new content post-release. Obviously, right now, we're not out till October, which is a good few months away. So we're still in the process of kind of formulating a plan and looking at, what we're going to release. But definitely some new cars and tracks will be on their way. Cool.
And have you got any thoughts about a season pass or something like that? Or
nothing set in stone just yet. There's a possibility for things like that, but it depends on the kind of broader range of things that we're looking to bring to the game.
Cool. So Gremlin1 wants to know, we haven't seen any damage visuals yet. So what will they look like? Will they be realistic based on where the car is hit? And can you write the car off if you're incredibly bad like me?
You can absolutely damage your cars. Mm-hmm. So if you're smashing alongside another car, you can scrape the paintwork, you can dent the bumpers, the body panels, etc. Smash the glass on the cars. But damage isn't really the focus of Driveclub. Sure, it looks great, but you can't write off your car. We don't penalise people for kind of damaging their car either, because it's all about fun. Ultimately, Driveclub. We want to make sure that if you have just hit a brick wall, that you can kind of just carry on, get back into the race, and start earning more fame, and hopefully catch up to the people who just shot ahead of you.
Cool. So Sarfraz Nawaz Khan wants to know a little bit more about the app. So NAC and Assassin's Creed 4 have companion apps, and you can unlock things in the game by doing that, by taking the time out when you're away. So how exactly will the Driveclub app work? Can you earn points for your club, unlock things? How's that going to work?
The Driveclub app is a little bit different from what NAC did. It'll be available day one, of course, for both iOS and Android.
Fantastic.
And what you can do from there is it's almost like a window into the world of Driveclub. It's our way to make sure that you're kind of always connected. So you can see all the activity feeds to see what your friends are doing, what your club mates are doing, what your rivals are doing. But it's also a way to kind of send challenges, create clubs, or even live stream people who are playing Driveclub, which is cool.
Quite exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and so TL, who is Tom Leo, says, do you have plans for special or collector's editions of the game? And if so, what do you think we might see in them?
There aren't any special or collector's editions, unfortunately. There are pre-order deals with certain retailers, which will offer specific cars and fame bonuses. Yeah. But sorry, no. There are none.
No worries. Okay, cool. So Forza debuted the McLaren P1 to the world. Could we expect something similar with Driveclub? Or were there any cars that you had trouble kind of getting access to due to licensing issues or anything like that?
No, I think we've got a great selection of 50 cars. We've really been able to kind of handpick the ones that we wanted. Okay. And we do have the McLaren P1 inside Driveclub as well, which is a fantastic car. But we've also gone to extra lengths with the McLaren P1, because in the real world it has a KERS system, or an iPass as McLaren call it, and also DRS. And we actually allow users to manually control those inside the game, which is cool. It's more for the advanced users, but it's there if they want to.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And then last question. So some racers like Gran Turismo 6 had a lot of fun with some out there ideas. They had the Lunar Rover. So do you have any crazy cars like that or anything like that in Driveclub?
We've got something up our sleeve.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Very good. And so presumably we will find out in October.
I don't think you'll find out on the first day. It's
really?
There's something hidden, but we don't want to say just what yet and when you'll be able to find it.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Paul. That's great. So for more on Driveclub in the run-up to its October launch and beyond, be sure to stay with us on IGN.